Hello and welcome to Drafting with John. Another fun little premiere draft with Zendikar Rising. We're just going to take it easy today. We're going to have a nice, fun, slow, chilled out drafting session. And if you are in for a chilled out drafting session, give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And check out some of the other drafts we've done. We've done quite a few Zendikar drafts already, varying in success. I'm trying not to post too many bad drafts. That's not to say that this isn't a 0-3, as this is just about chilling out. We've got a little beer. We've got some of our favourite mini cheddars. And hey, we're just going to have a good time playing some magic cards. So, let's just see anyone that we... of course we don't recognise anyone. Why would we? Okay, so let's settle in. Let's start by looking at our packs. I actually think the last 3 times I've drafted, I've been gifted this little thing. We've not really used it much. I'd say that we did do an Is It Wizards last time, and you know, it was okay. Luckily, there's nothing really in the uncommon or even common slot that I would preferentially take. I like both of the red cards uncommon. Just to, if you haven't seen it before, this one's going to be a 4/4 when we've got lots of cards in their graveyard. No, in our graveyard, lots of instant sorceries. So kind of encouraging us to play instants and sorceries. We're hoping to wheel, you know, there's Riptides, there's Electromancers, there's all sorts of bits and bobs that we wouldn't mind seeing. Okay, so here we would be initially drawn with this card to Wizards, which again is blue-red. The only red card is a Scorch Rider, which even in a warrior deck is a little bit sketch. The cleric's pretty good, but it tends to be better in the cleric deck. Lol Mage's domination is expensive. You know, we'd be kind of like locking down blue. But it is a mill-based card. Alternatively, which I'm thinking of, we've got Nahiri's Binding, which isn't a bad white card. I'm not in love with anything else. We've not played with a Lol Mage's Domination. We'll take it. And we'll see how we get on. Well, I mean, we're somewhat rewarded with a Sorcerer. The Sorcerer is a great wizard card. It works really well with the red-blue wizard theme. Spores of Adventure is pretty good in a party deck, drawing you cards and gaining you life, especially if it only costs you 2 or 3 or 4 even. Not sure about the Resolute Strike. The Into the Royal is the other card I'd be tempted by. Had there not been a Rock Slide Sorcerer, the Into the Royal is very good. It goes in both the Kicker deck and pretty much any blue deck, like the Wizards deck, but not in the same vein as the kind of payoff card that is the Rock Slide Sorcerer. So we've pulled ourselves a sorcery, we've got ourselves somewhat of a payoff for the Wizard, and we've got ourselves another payoff for the Wizards. I hope that everyone who watched the last Is It Wizards is keen and excited for this next Is It Wizards deck that we are clearly drawing. Okay, so we aren't fixed anywhere yet. The only thing we've got is 2 pretty good red cards. So when we look at this guy, he's a little rogue, cheeky little rogue guy, rogue tag. He's got his lower face covered by some sort of rag, because obviously no one will know who he is. Clearly this is some sort of poorly designed COVID card. Pretty good, you know, you basically want him to hit the opponent in order to gain a bit more card advantage. The Lord Mage's Familiar is very good in a kicker deck. At the moment, we're not really kicker at all. Otherwise, again, nothing much in the common slot. So, happy to take the Night Runner, see where it goes. Well, if nothing else, we're being rewarded for our stalwart red, I say domination. We've got a 2, 3, 4 and now a 5 drop in red. You know, I'm not hurt by it. The rest of the cards are average at best, I would say. You know, Glacial Grasp is okay. Springmantle Cleric in a multicolour deck is okay. Farsight Adept is okay. Seagate Baronet is okay. All of which in specific decks. Same with Scale the Heights. Like, they're all okay, but only in the very specific decks that they're in. Us being almost entirely mono red is not necessarily a bad thing. So we've got 2 cards here that we're going to be interested in. And that is the Expedition Diviner, which is a 4-mana wizard that flies, and flying is key in this format, I have learnt. Or we've got the Fissure Wizard. Now, in order to kind of hedge my bets, I'm going to take the Fissure Wizard. A couple of reasons. 2 mana is definitely the sweet spot in this set, as it is in most drafting sets. It's just really important. If not 2, then 3 mana. I think the Expedition Diviner is great, and I will pick up as many of those as I can, but us being almost entirely mono red means that really we do want to take those. The Blood Beckoning is good, and I'd be tempted to take it if we'd seen more black, which we haven't. And actually, I'm not overly disappointed in sitting on another red card, especially as we've got a wizard, rogue, wizard, and we're about to hit warrior. It means we can hit sort of 3 of the 4 party types, missing out only on cleric in our kind of opening pack. So that's not really a bad thing at all. And it is another one of those sweet spot 2 drops. Now, I'd probably say that Practice Tactics and Kabira Outrider are slightly better than Cleric of the Chill Depths, but again, it's a 2 drop. If you haven't seen it, that blocks a creature. Well, when it blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap. It's a 2 drop, it's a 1/3, and it is a Cleric, which means we now hit all of our party requirements if a party card were to come up. Now, we've somewhat lucked out here. I actually believe this is one of the strongest cards, the modal double face cards. Fling is kind of a joke card to many people. 2 mana to throw something at someone. But this card seems to have finished more games than I care to believe. Now, I like the Electromancer, but we don't really have the card draw to utilise it. Now, I'm going to speed things up by moving that across. It's just a fantastic card, considering the fact that it can be a land if it's in your opening hand and you need it to be a land. We would need to look at potentially if we've got any cards to bring it out of the land slot and into our hand, but for the time being, I'm happy for it to just sit there. I'm more than happy to take another Ambusher and a Chilling Trap because we are in the Wizard's deck. I don't see us using that Tormenting Voice. I don't think we'll use 2 clerics, but it's nice to have it. So, we seem to have opened up an Izzet Wizards rare, which we can't be mad about. If you've not seen it, draws 2 cards, discards a card. That in and of itself, for 4 mana, we get ourselves a body, and we get to basically draw 2 with that 1 discard. And then whenever you cast instant or sorcery, it could be a 4/1, which is again more offensive, although being a 4/1 isn't always the best thing. So it's a great card. If we weren't going to take that card, the Merfolk Falconer. Now, if we could wheel this, I would be giddy as a proverbial schoolgirl. However, it's very unlikely as it is a great card. Alternatively, the Skyclave's okay, and for us being basically wizards, Chilling Trap's alright. Otherwise, there isn't a lot in this pack for us. I'd push the Sizzling Barrage. Okay, so in this pack, I'm not overwhelmed by anything up into the uncommon slot. Probably the best card in the pack, outside of obviously the Kalni Ambush and the Captan, arguably the Golem in a rogue deck, is going to be some of these cards here. Now, I quite like the Bug Catcher. In our deck, we've got quite a bit of party going on, and I would like to think that we'll wheel the wizard. Wheel. If not, possibly the Tempest, although I'm not overwhelmed by that. The Gloom Hunter's nice, the Colony's great, the Scale of the Height's pretty good, but we're not interested in any of those. We're pretty happy with the Bug Catcher. It's a strong 2-drop for us. Okay. So, 2 uncommons are really strong. The Pelika Predation is a good black card, modal double face card. And the Marassa Sproutling's pretty great. Now, we aren't kind of necessarily locked into blue, however, it is a strong card for a strong colour for us. Now, we've already got a T2Peak Ambusher. The Pyroclastic Helium will help us get back our Kazul's Fury and our Songmad Treachery, so I'm pretty happy to pick it up. The Risen Riptide would be nice, but at the moment we're kind of not running any kicker, maybe the one, so I'm not particularly bothered by it. Okay, it's a fairly safe Bayin Veil. It's both a land and the potential to be a kind of mass power debuff. Feed the Swarm, best card probably in the pack. Core Celebrant for anyone in Black-White Clerics, which I don't think we have anyone in this part table, in this group. Otherwise, Molten Blast at a push, maybe an Ordinate Rage, but we aren't necessarily looking to be that aggressive. So I'm happy with the Bayin Veil. Well, it's nice to know that we can do some good things and be rewarded by some good things. This Thundering Spark Mage is a great payoff for the wizard deck, especially as we've kind of made sure we're keeping a few of other party members. Now, it would be lovely to wield the Expedition Diviner, but again, highly unlikely that we will. Oh, it's as if we accidentally fell into exactly the right place. It's very odd to see a Vine Gecko go this far. It's an absolute fantastic kicker, uncommon. But for us, casting an instant sorcerer or wizard creates a 4/3 flyer, not just a 4/3. And it can be a land. And we know with the Helium that we've got, we're gonna definitely make the most of it. Well, we've managed to get ourselves one of these pesky Expedition Diviners that have been eluding us this far. The Taunting Arbor Mage is a good pickup. We could have had some green, but I don't necessarily think any of the 3 colour decks we've drafted have been particularly good. It would be fantastic to see a duelist at some point, but I'm not particularly bothered if we don't. Odd to see an Iridescent Horn Beetle. Most people see this card as being particularly strong, and I say most people are in and around the silver/gold region. It kind of looks funky, it's got some extra words on it, and therefore people like it. We've already got field research. I'm happy to take the first Glacial Grasp over the second field research. I don't think in a wizard deck we can necessarily have too many Chilling Traps. We've already got 2 Cleric of the Chill Depths, which is probably one too many already. So we'll take that. I asked nicely that we wheel the Fissure Wizard, and it apparently means that we do. It's a good question that you just asked. I'm probably more likely to play that, but I doubt we'll play anything. I mean, clearly we're the only person drafting red. We'll take like 1 billion of those, and we'll get another cleric. We're not going to play all of them, but it's nice to see them. So, this is a fantastic black card. It's a shame that we don't see a red or a blue card here, but just to dwell on it for a second, it's a 3 mana, sorcery, speed, opponent discards 2 cards, or target creature with convert mana cost 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield for you, or destroy an opponent's thing of a creature, convert mana cost 3 or higher. If you pay an additional 4, you do everything. The 2 cards in contention are Zendikar, which is a lovely card, or Bubble Snare. We haven't had any into the Royals, which is a real problem for us, if anything. We haven't had any Royal Eruptions, which again is a problem. I hope to see one now. That's a shame. I thought that might work. But a Bubble Snare will tie things up. You've got some fantastic uncommons here. Sign of the Swarm, specifically for black-white clerics, which we are not. I don't know if you noticed. Vastwood Fortification, fantastic for counters or any green deck. At a push, we don't have that. And the Adventurer is great for any party deck, which we are, but not in green. We're not in white, which is a shame. We're not in black, which is a shame. Every card in here that's worthwhile is not blue or red, but we'll happily take the Royal Mage. You kick it for 6 and you get yourselves an instant sorcery back from the graveyard. We need an instant sorcery to get back from the graveyard, however. At the moment, unfortunately, we're not getting one. We'll take a Valakut Exploration, which is a landfall card. 3 mana enchantment. Basically, whenever you play a land, you get the top card of your library. Exiled, you can play it, or if you don't, you can deal that 1 damage to the opponent. Naturally, if you then play 3 or 4 cards, you can have 3 or 4 cards to play and deal 3 or 4 damage, but we aren't going to be playing more than 1 card a turn with this deck. The only other option is this Champion, which we're not going to really use, and this Wizard, which it might be useful, but I can only imagine we're going to wheel that. No one's going to want one of those. They're not very good. Well, we remained patient over the last 2 packs where we got very little, and we've managed to get ourselves the, I'll say the premier uncommon. It's next to the amulet. It's the next best thing. It's a 1/3 that flies, that gives us +2/+0. Whenever we cast an instant sorcery or wizard, we're going to be casting lots of instant sorceries and wizards, so this is a great card for us. We'd like to wheel the Royal Mage, that would be lovely, but if we had to, we'd wheel the Seer. We'll take 2 of them. There's not a problem with having 2. I'd take 3 and maybe even 4. Again, the Chilling Trap would be nice. I don't know if I'd necessarily play 3. The Inordinate Rage wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing either. I'll happily take a 3rd. We'll take a 2nd Glacial Grasp. It's not the end of the world. It replaces itself, which is a big theme that we want to keep in this deck. That's a shame. There's no one in Clerics at all. So we're going to take ourselves another Wizard, a Fissure Wizard. I think we can be clear that this is going to be a bit sad, and so is this. But we'll certainly take another Fissure Wizard. We don't want a 3rd Glacial Grasp. At this stage, a Sneaking Guide doesn't give us very much at all, in my opinion, and I'd rather have a Spikefield Hazard, which is a land. And we wield the Cinderclasm, just because we were so very pleasant during the other packs. And now we can sit and stare at a pack of cards we don't really want and eat a mini cheddar. Perfect. None of these cards are useful. That's nice. Okay, we willed the Expedition Champion. We're not going to play that. And there you go. When you tell the computer that this card is rubbish, the computer will make sure you see it again. And the Inordinate Rage. Well, certainly in here somewhere is a deck worth playing. Our job, after this 1 card, is to find it. exactly on the 20-minute mark, as if we planned it. Let's see. We managed to actually get quite a few of these cheeky little cards. I wouldn't say I necessarily look for them as much as I used to, but apparently in a 2-colour deck I can still pull 5 out of somewhere, which means this Pyroclastic Helion, although useless in every other aspect of the deck, will be useful in pulling one of these back. Straight away, I quite like these. I'm going to say we don't need some of the cards we've got. I'm just going to start thinning before we get any further. Just got rid of the Molten Blast, but it might be useful. Okay, so we're going to be wanting to play probably 18, maybe 19 with these 5, which means we're going to want 14. And we need to do the cool thing, which is to get the lands that you think look really cool. That's definitely a more wizardy card. Okay, so we're 5 cards over, which is never a bad thing, I'd say. So the likelihood that we're going to gain control of something and want to gain control of something is minimal. Now, I'm not a big fan of that. Do I think that this Grotag and Night Runner will help us? No. This is the kind of level of harsh we're going to have to be. I don't necessarily like that card that I openly said was bad. I like the Pyroclastic Helion. Now the question is, do I like these cards as much? Would I rather play less? Take 1 Chilling Trap out. We'll take the Inordinate Rage out. So what does that give us? It gives us a Bug Catcher, a Pyroclasm, a Royal Mage, a Bubble Snare, a bunch of these Fisher Wizards, a Field Research for that little bit of extra card draw that we might need, Glacial Grasps, Molten Blast is a bit of an extra oomph as we've not got anything that does any damage to anyone other than our actual creatures, and this Rock Slide Sorcerer. You know, let's just have a little breakdown. We've managed to got 14 creatures, 12 wizards. That's pretty spectacular to get 12 of those bad boys in there, and 11 instants and sorceries, which means we're sat on 23. Over half our deck trigger our cards, and you know what? With that in mind, I'm going to say I'm happy. We've already used the... no, I just want to rename it. Please stop. Please, please. I don't know what I'm doing that's wrong. There it is. Let's just call them Wizards, because I just can't be able to think of a better name. We've got a bunch of land just in case. We've got plenty of ways to get rid of it if we don't need it. We're just going to give it a go. 23, 24 minutes. We're not really wasting our time. What we're doing is eating mini cheddars. White Fox 81. Well, good for you. If you can hear the rain, then lol, sorry, or lol soz, as I'm going to say. Now we're banking on drawing a land pretty significantly here. Paid off. I'm happy to play this out and offer the trade. If they want to get rid of it, they can. Next turn we'll Umara Mystic. If they put a counter on it, then that makes my life much easier. Okay. When I say offer the trade, I mean absolutely not be able to trade. Okay. So I'm actually in to play Royal Mage and hit him for 2. Next turn I'm happy to get rid of the Hellhound with this. If we don't draw a land, then I may well be forced to play it and either way, tap down. Okay, them hitting us for 6 is not ideal. You certainly wouldn't say that was what you wanted. I think I'll wait until they play a land. Again, taking 4 is annoying, but not the end of the world. So we can play Expedition Diviner. Which will then trade with their Dauntless Survivor, which I'm happy to do. And next turn we can play our Umara Mystic and then Glacial Grasp on their turn if need be. Okay, that's fine. Draw a card off that. I'm not sure that's the best play for them. They can attach the Relic Axe. I'm not sure it's necessarily gonna. Okay. I believe that's us. So they can't attack. Yeah, that's fine. And play that as a 4/3. I may have foolishly believed that the Sky Sentinel could have attacked, even though it didn't have a 1/1 counter on it, because it was above its normal 2/3 status. Okay, now they're just drawing cards, which is rude. Because with three reach creatures, they have to block. It's whether or not they want to block Umara Mystic with the Skyclave Sentinel, and then they lose one of their 1/4s, which is fine by me. Okay, they could get themselves 2 lands back for no reason. Yep, fine. Just going to slow them down. Unless they have 1. So we now know they've got 2 lands in their hand. 2. So we're just losing that one. I think I'll get rid of the Lol Mage's domination. Well, I believe that's game. Not the most conventional way of winning, but you know, you've got to give yourselves that chance. So, silver tier 1, 2 more games, and we get into that classic gold tiering, which we need to be in at the start of the season. I think what's key is that the card churn is real. We need to start with a couple of 2 drops and 3 drops, really. 2 or 3 lands. You see, this is fine. Cinderclasm's not great early doors, but it does what it does. You know, we win the flip, so can't ask much more than that. So the question is, do we go Bug Catcher? I think we do go Bug Catcher first. Just because then when we play Raw Mage next, okay, got rid of the long mages. That's a long-term thing. That would be a great card to be on a modal double face, a bit like the Treachery. I mean, this is a strong start from the opponent. So I think I am going to play this just because it blocks the Gloom Hunter really well. And I'm more than happy to attack. If they want to trade with both, they can. So the Mystic obviously works really well here. Next turn, oh, okay, if they want to get rid of 2 things, they can. Yeah, so it's very aggro from us. Next turn, we've got the Molten Blast to sort out the Gloom Hunter, which is fine. They can gain the life and hit us for 1. That's not really an issue. Yeah, you see, we've now got the ability to yeah. So as soon as we start to ping off like that, the opponent doesn't want to know, which is fine. And yeah, it kind of gives us that gold 4, classic gold 4 feeling. 2 for 2. What can we say? I would say this deck is not as good as the last deck, but possibly we're just being a little bit more careful. And we could even slow it down a tad more as well. It's important to consider each of the steps, each play you're doing, and whether or not, even just simple things like which main phase. Something I really over and over and over again struggle with is first or second main phase. Again, we've loaded the deck with 2s and 3 drops. We've had 2 lands in both our opening hands and been lucky with a 3rd land on the draw. So, and we've had to play both times. BB70. Okay, so we've not got the play this time. We have, in essence, got 2 lands. We have got in fact, we've got 3 lands. So, I'm not angry at this. There are worse plays. You know, just depressingly, this is a great hand now that we've seen that. That island and that mountain. So yeah, I'm more than happy to play the bug catcher, and we'll follow it up with the mystic. And that attacks for 3. You know, it's just a turn 3/3/2 with a 1/3 in the air. It's a dangerous combination. No, they can do that and take 2 damage. That's fine. It's a little bit annoying, but it stops them really doing anything else. If they want to use a Royal Eruption on that, they can. If they want to do some other... Okay. Again, that's fine for us. Okay. So, our choices here are, we could Molten Blast. You know, this is going to sound a little bit too much. But I think this is incredibly aggressive. It's thinning cards out of our graveyard, but it's when we're getting maximum value off of that. Hitting for 5. They're putting out a 2/1. They're really loading up. And we can definitely hold this. I'm just going to cycle this. If they attack with the Constrictor next turn, I'll Bubble Snare it for 1, and then Helion. Okay, you know, it's not great, but it is what it is. Now that's bad. There wasn't really a lot of... There wasn't really a lot of thought there, but that is a dangerous Cinderclasm. And there we go, game 3. In 18 minutes, 3 games, 3 wins. Have we drawn well? Yes, we've drawn well. What can I say? I think the key is to take all 2 rares in your opening 2 packs and just draw from there. Ugh. Again, I'm definitely somebody who's keen on getting out, playing quick. I like the aggro style. I like to attack at every possible option, every possibility. But you know, sometimes you've just got to slow it down. I'm going to say slow it down and think it through, but I've basically just attacked every single turn I could anyway. So yeah, again, we've actually got 4 lands with the treachery, but we don't need to play the treachery as a land. You know, they've kicked things off well there. I'm not bothered by... See, so this is the aggressive start that I'm more worried about. But it doesn't make a lot of sense. Black-white doesn't really do... Doesn't really do this very well. It's black-white rogue warriors. So... I'm going to wizard, and I'm going to get rid of this Lull Mage's Domination. It's not what we wanted, really. I'm going to attack, offer the trade. I'm happy to trade the wizard for the for one of the skulkers. If they want to get rid of it, they can. Okay. We're now going to take 7. It's a very aggressive start from the opponent. A land does change things. So I'm attacking in there because it's not a good defense. We'll take another 7, which is not ideal. Another land is going to be pretty important here. So we're going to have to try and stabilize. If they have any removal, we look a bit silly. The Helion might just keep us in this. They do have Death Touch on these two, but it wouldn't be those two I'd block with the Helion. Yeah, in black and white there is decent removal, so I'm not feeling greatly confident at this point. I've let our life total go very low. Getting rid of one of these skulkers will give us more of a chance, but yeah. So doing that, if that's what they want to do. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. It takes us down to 2. If they want to buff the banneret, then they can. Yeah. So it's not ideal. So I have to basically kick with the view of 100% getting a mountain. I don't think that even does it. I think that's it though. Yeah, we're just out of it. Their aggression was just too much for us. We were probably a turn or 2 away. I possibly attacked when I needed to defend. By possibly, I mean 100% definitely did. Kind of just goes to show that those Grotag bug catchers are very good offensively, but defensively, they just lack that power that's required. Yeah, we'll still take a 3-1 at this point for sure. I'd like to see us get another couple of wins, get it to a 5-1, maybe even a 6-1 before we lose another. Yeah, this deck's got ability. We did. If you've not seen the last video, I shan't spoil it. Well, I will spoil it now, so close your ears. You know, the last deck we got 5-3, and I believe it was much better than this one. So what we've not seen is the wizard yet. Got no early game here, which isn't good on the draw. So I think I'm going to mulligan this. I don't like to mulligan something like this, but I'd much rather have this. I'm going to be honest. The Lol Mage's domination is just too expensive in terms of like the amount of the number of islands required. Oh, wow. You know how, you misplay? Yep, well that was one of them. How did I put down 2 islands and not a mountain? Okay, so. That's fine. Well, at least the Amara Mystic is a good block for the Namana Sky Dancer. And they haven't put another land down. I don't actually want to. I'm pretty happy to attack into. I'm happy to race if that's what we want to do. I mean, this having Death Touch is irrelevant to me. And my small creatures are not particularly bothered. If they want to play another Sky Dancer, then they're welcome. I'm not particularly happy by a Bubble Snare. That's a bit shit. Pardon my language. But that, that Expedition Skulker now becomes just a 2/2. And, I'll trade it with the Spark Mage. Spark Mage has done its job. The Bubble Snare is annoying. We've not got any Into the Royals to get this Mystic back to our hands. We have another Mystic, so it doesn't really matter too much. That Vampire is going to be annoying. I'd rather wait for it to attack, take the 4, and then Bubble Snare it for 1, and follow it up with a Wizard. Well, I'm now inviting the attack and at the same time the Bubble Snare on the Expedition Diviner. They've got a significant number of lands though. I'd like for them to do nothing with their turn. Oh, we'll draw a card, that's absolutely fine. A mountain would be good. Or a Molten Blast is just fine, I guess. Didn't see what I pressed then. So they can't do anything yet. So I'll keep this Molten Blast because it will destroy the Relic Golem. So we're about to take 8. I can't afford to take 8, so... At this stage, the Soaring Thief is a little bit annoying. We have 1, 2, 3 of the 4 instants of sorceries that we need in the graveyard. We're level. They're hitting us for 2. We're hitting them for 3. We've got 1 card in hand. We're currently with nothing in hand. I'm going to do this in order to the Groteg Bugcatcher was probably a better card, but I just had to risk it. The Channeler should now become a 4/4. Nope. So this next turn, so as soon as we can, we'll play this. Oh, me oh my, it just about got us there. Well, wasn't that tense for everybody? It's mini cheddar time. If anyone knows mini cheddars and wants to get me an unnecessary sponsorship, that'd be great. Okay. So we definitely came close again. Playing the black blue rogues. The Yube. But we will continue to pursue that 7-win goal that we've got. We have no action. We have all of the lands and we have no action. We're going to keep it because I think card advantage is important. And we will play Island first. We attack with the Hellhound. Do I care about a constant 2 damage? I do. I guess we'll see what the second colour is. Green. There are going to be some serious cards coming down. Bubble Snare is kind of our only card. Unless we draw a 2-drop, I will Bubble Snare it. And unless they're not playing anything of any importance, so I don't want to keep taking 2, so I'm happy to just do that. They haven't really done anything, so we can go Amara Mystic. Yeah, that's annoying. They'll attack for 5. And then we'll go Glacial Grasp on their turn. Or probably on our turn, actually, to get the Amara Mystic up. You know what? We're going to get the Master of the Winds. Gives us a bit of that. And the Glacial Grasp, the Syndiclasm is going to be good if they play a couple of smaller creatures. Because our creatures aren't going to be affected by it. Them getting rid of the Master of Winds isn't really a huge issue. It's annoying, but it's not a huge issue. We're all in the air at the moment, so it's going to be hard for them. So that's a Royal Eruption, but that won't do anything. Or it's the 4... Oh, okay. Interesting. So that's a land drop to trigger Skyclave, and a draw a card to hopefully get... Oh, and to trigger the Mammoth, of course, of course. So we have another land now. That makes some scary scariness. Wow. Okay, so they're gonna be lethal. I'm gonna have to throw my Master of the Winds under one of these creatures. What? I mean, that's incredible. That's trample, so fair play. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. So Syndiclasm won't do it. I mean, that's risky, but I really don't have a lot of other options here. That anything with haste that they have is going to kill me. So, I mean, that's not going to kill me, but it's going to get us very close. That is going to kill me. Wow. I can only applaud that. That is a somewhat sensational card draw that they've managed to get. Wowee. Well, I'm going to nip and think about what I've done for a minute. Yeah, just going to utilise the facilities and be back for game number 7. That landfall on Gruul is really devastating with those cleansing is it cleansing wildfire? You destroy a land, create a land, destroy a land, bring a land in, and then whacking down the Roiling Regrowth with the Brushfire Elemental. Crikey. That's just a phenomenal combination. I don't know if many decks could deal with that. You'd have to lay down a load of pointless creatures and hope your card draw was there, but we've got some good beer, and we've obviously got the mini cheddars. I don't hate this, which is a good start. Oh, look at this. I think I'd rather have a land, because we're going to need this land for the Amara Mystic. I think, yeah, I was going to say, I think I'm better off trading. And I'm happy to trade the sellsword for the wizard. If they have an equipment, yeah, that's bad. So they've got double strike. So that's 10. Wowee. That's a powerful combination. I can't take 14. What is this weird, like, OP draw that everyone's got? You'd have thought, like, oh yeah, easy, take that. But Equipped Warriors of double strike. I don't like that at all. I'm going to have to throw the Master of Winds under the bus. And take 5 or whatever it is. This is unbelievable. Shit. Well, it was a swift and yet unnecessarily painful end to this. I felt like we were on a really good run there. The last 2 starts from the opponents has been absolutely unnecessary. I feel sad, demoralised. I never want to play the game again, but I will ultimately play again almost immediately. So, what are we going to do? We've got almost all our gems back. And now it's raining heavily, which I hope you can hear on the microphone. So look, I'll leave you guys with the thought that it was a 4-3. It wasn't too bad. We had a good time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know you have. And I will see you very much in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.